Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you are in the world. How are you today? Jim and Jerry here, and today we're doing a vaping video. As a matter of fact, this one is a challenge. I've got to thank a friend of mine on Twitter. Her name is Kelly. Her and I have been talking through DMs, and she is someone who's cited, who has actually been listening to ideas I've been coming up with. She is a fellow vapor as well, and I think even she would encourage you to watch this video. I want a lot of you who are cited vapors to step back and put yourself in my shoes for just a moment. Neither one of my eyes have sight. Now, I don't know if you can tell that or not. From my right eye, you probably definitely can because it's sunk in a bit. My left eye, well, I have a hard time controlling it. I don't even know if you see it very well on the video, but who cares? That's not what this video is about. We've been discussing the perfect mod, and I want to show you guys just a couple things. First of all, I know that there are some AI mods that are out now. There's two of them. iJoy has made one, and Smock, you have made one as well. So partial kudos go out to the both of you, both companies. I say partial because you've clipped the ball. You have not hit the ball. You have not hit a home run. You've chipped the ball, I guess would be a golf term. I want to see one of you guys hit it out of the park. And to that end, I'm going to offer up some ideas. It's great that you put in a few voice commands, but here are some others you could do. Hello, iJoy. Wattage 70. Or, hello, iJoy. Wattage 85. Does anyone know what that should do? It should set your mod at a particular wattage. Here's why I say that. Blind person does not know where their wattage is on their mod. I don't. I'm pretty sure that right now this one should be at 90. There you guys go. I hope you can see it. Where's the lens again? Where's my... There it is. All right, so hopefully you can see the wattage on there. It should be at about 90, and I'm using oh, geez, what is this tank? Oh, man. Oh, I can't think at the moment. Yeah, that one. It's the new one that the company that makes Crown 3 put out. That one. I like it. And I'm using it on a switcher mod. I like this mod. Why? Because it fires up pretty quick. Ooh, little much that time. But at any rate, if I want to adjust the wattage, because I'm going to change tanks, let's say I want to put on my Firelook mesh tank, that one I don't want to do at 90 watts, I'd want to do it at 70. The problem is, I'd have to count 200 presses of the down arrow button. Why? Because it only moves by 0.1. Oh, wait. But if I want to adjust for, say, my Cascade tank that I usually use at about 110, 115, I all of a sudden, once I hit 100, have to change my counting from 0.1 to 1, which really gets confusing when you have to go from, say, the Cascade tank to, say, the Firelook mesh tank. Because once you hit 100, you got to think backward again. Whoops, now I got to go from 1 to 0.1. Here's another idea. And I'm using the iJoy because I watched the video for it a lot. I don't think the Smock one you have to say anything to it. I think you just push a button. But, at any rate, hello iJoy. Battery status. It could tell you what your battery is at. I can't see my... battery looks blank to me. An on-off switch like the 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 new Iron Fist mod that came out is an awesome idea. Because pressing the fire button 5 times? Oof. Now, let's see what else. Oh, here's another one. I'm unscrewing this tank for a reason. Let's say I'm changing tanks. Okay. Let's switch to my Prince tank here. Why? Because I can. I want to puff on it. Oh. It's asking me if it's a new coil. No. Leave me alone. So if you put a new tank on the mod, it should beep at you reminding you that you have to answer yes or no. Or better yet, the mod could say, is this a new coil? That'd be nice. It'd be a nice touch. If there's an error, the mod should say at least say coil error or atomizer error or something. Because there have been times where I've put a tank on a mod. Matter of fact, it was my Alien. Apparently, the Aliens are more picky. If you misthread when you're putting the bottom back on the tank, if you misthread it and it's not quite right, the Alien throws a fit. I didn't know this. Why didn't I know this? Because when I put the same tank on this mod here, my switcher mod, it worked. So, if there's going to be an error, there's got to be a way to let someone like me know that there's an error. Better yet, why don't you do what the company who makes the Captain X3 did on their mod? It doesn't even it just reads it just reads it and goes on about its merry way. You don't have to answer if it's a new coil or not. That's kind of going back on the whole switching tanks thing. It just reads it and goes on. Now, obviously, if there's an error, let us know. That'd be nice. Another thing, and this is not standard on all mods. I'm popping the batteries out, and I'm doing it for a reason. Okay, so the first problem I have, okay. I know how the batteries go in this mod, but on the door here, now there are going to be some blind people who say, oh, I feel it just fine. Well, you might be able to, but I cannot. I cannot feel if this one, which one's telling me, hey, positive points this way, negative points this way. The only reason I know is because, well, thank goodness this one is, I know someone told me, plus, so constantly trying batteries different ways is a pain. Here's another thing that's a pain. When I close this door, as you see, that mod turns on right away. I wouldn't have known that. I forget where I saw a video, but someone described it. And I saw that it did turn on right away, so I can just use it. Now, problem. Oh, it didn't ask about the coil. So it's ready to go. But some mods, Alien, I'm looking at you, the Alien 220 I have, even if you switch the batteries, a lot of times you still have to tell it if it's a new coil or not. Even though you didn't change the tank, all you changed was the damn batteries. So in this case, I can just continue on my way. How nice. But what I was getting at is the Alien mod, and a lot of other mods like it, you have to push the fire button 5 times. Let's make this universal. Or, again, in this new mod that I'm talking about, have it beep at you when it's on. If you can make a mod talk, you can make a mod beep. For God's sake, just have it go beep. That's all it needs to do. Can't be that hard to do. When you're charging a mod, how about do-do-do for the fact that the mod is done charging the batteries, because I talked to Kelly and she said she's let hers overcharge a couple times and she's almost lost a mod because of it. She almost had one catch fire. Well, that would suck. But if it could just beep at us and let us know it's done charging. Now me, I don't generally charge my batteries in my mod. I have a Bluetooth, it's a Bluetooth charger made by, is it pronounced eFest? It actually has an app that is accessible to VoiceOver on the iPhone, that I can look at the, look at the different batteries and see, A, if they're charging or not, and B, where they're at. In other words, wattage, their voltage or whatever you want to call it. But I can see how charged up they are, and I can see what power they're charging at. So if they're almost charged, they do that little trickle stuff at the end. I can see, it's at 4.2 volts, and it's almost fully charged. That's great. Although the Android app with TalkBack leaves a lot to be desired. This is my plea to not only my vaping friends. There are several of you that I watch some of your videos, and I hesitate to name some of them only because if I forget some, they're going to be like, well, what about me? I know I watch the Suck My Mod a lot on YouTube. Vape Wild does some videos that I've watched. Who else do I have in my... I don't even remember. I have some of you favorited, and I can't remember all of you, but I do watch your videos from time to time. There's one that's a lady who I watch. Matter of fact, it was her video I saw about the iJoy that talks. I will say, in some of your guys' videos, could you do us a little favor? Instead of saying, to fill the tank, you simply open this here and you fill it right there. To a blind person, that doesn't tell us squat. Let me give you an idea of how you might say it. All right, we're looking at the Prince tank, and on the Prince tank, you're going to find a button near the top edge. You simply push the button, the top swings away, and you will find your fill hole right on the edge of the top. That at least lets someone like me know what to look for.
Your testimonial was posted.
Oh. Thanks. I'm just recording a video, but thanks for letting me know. So I encourage those of you who are vapors like myself, let's get a hold of these manufacturers and make these mods a little more blind friendly. I know a vaping store, Vaping Dragon, who is run by visually impaired / blind people. They do their best with the mods and whatnot. They do better than I do, plus they've probably been using them a lot longer than I have, but I'm sure some of them would even like to see mods that have these capabilities that I'm talking about. The Bluetooth mods that are out there, there's several. There's Boku, lots. There's a plethora of Bluetooth mods out there. There's one problem. The software for them needs to be tested with things like VoiceOver and TalkBack. I personally don't have the money to go buy a mod, let's say a $70 mod, or let's go on the extreme, ladies and gentlemen. I saw a mod on Vape Wild that is $219 for a mod. I'm not kidding. $219. Would it work with VoiceOver? I don't know. And I don't have the $219 to spend on the mod to find the software to find out. So, the app for these things needs to be accessible, people, with VoiceOver and or TalkBack, or preferably both. You wouldn't have to add a lot of these, voice things to your mod if we could do it through Bluetooth through our cell phone. Because that technology is apparently already in a lot of mods, that they have a Bluetooth chip and you can connect it to your phone and do changes and yada, yada, yada. That's great. But, Like I said, I don't have the money to buy all these different Bluetooth mods. Nope, nope, nope. So with that said, this is my challenge to the different companies out there. Smock, I'm looking at you. iJoy, I'm looking at you. Vaporisso, I'm looking at you. The company that makes the Crown 3 and the Valerian tank that I use. Hey, I remembered what that tank's name is finally. I love that tank. I don't like the Crown 3 as much, but the Valerian tank saved your guys' graces. But Ewell, or however you pronounce your name, I'm looking at you too. My challenge to you guys, come out with a mod that is more blind friendly. You know, that's great that I have this great switcher mod that has all these nice features. Oh, you can set your own curve, and you can change the way the lights work on the mod. That's great, but I don't have any way of setting it. I spend, let's see, I don't remember how much I spent on this particular mod. I think it was like $89. It was a kit. It came with a different tank than the one I'm using. But my point, though, is I spent $89 on the mod / tank, and I can only adjust wattage. That's it. So put yourself in our shoes. We love the vaping just as much as you do. You know, I use it to quit smoking. I tried a lot of other stuff such as gums and patches, lozenges. None of that stuff worked for me. Vaping is what did it for me. And not only that, I like it. My girlfriend is happy for me. You know, she says, well, yeah, you went from one expensive habit to the other to another expensive habit, but you know what? You like vaping. You know? So she's very proud of me. September 30th of last year was when I had my last cigarette. I'm proud of myself. I'm going to do something for my 1-year anniversary. But I do encourage you guys that make these mods. Please, please, please make these things more accessible. I'll even be your guinea pig. You want to send an alpha that the battery door is hanging by a wire, but you've got the rest of it working just fine. Fine, I'll test it. I'll be your guinea pig. You know, but let's put something out there. I know other people who live in other countries. Someone I know, I don't know where she lives, but she doesn't really mess with a lot of different mods. You know, why? Because they are complicated for us to use. A coworker of mine, he wanted to try vaping, but because all we can really do is adjust the wattage, and even then, we still have to get sighted assistance to find out where we are in the first place. He gave it up and he went back to smoking. So I implore you guys, come out with a mod that's more accessible. If it's a little more expensive, okay, I'm not paying $300 for a mod. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But, you know, a normal mod might be $50. So if we've got to pay $80 for a mod, but it's a lot more accessible to blind people and or visually impaired. I don't want to leave the visually impaired market out. You know, who have trouble seeing the display because they're in the same boat we're in. They might as well not be able to see it at all. So I implore you guys, help us out. Come out with something that's a lot more accessible to us, because we want to play with a lot of these cool features you guys talk about. But we can't. And why? It doesn't really... I shouldn't say it doesn't exist yet, because obviously Bluetooth mods are out there, and there is software, but I can't tell if they work from an accessible point of view with voiceover on an iPhone or TalkBack on an Android. Or hell, hook it to the computer, and instead of doing a firmware update, let us change settings. But for God's sakes, make the software accessible to screen readers. Let's see what company steps up to the plate and takes my challenge. The gauntlet has been dropped. What company is going to accept it? I thank all of you for watching and hope you have a great day.